Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Files podcast. I'm really excited about this episode today, and I'm really excited for you to hear it because I want to introduce you to my friend Jasmine, Jazz, who is going to be on the podcast now and then going forward. She does have a full time job, so whenever she's not booked and busy. And overall, I just think for this podcast for myself, it's nice to have a co host now and then, just someone to speak to about these issues. And Jasmine's the perfect person because we just get along so well. We gel, we have the same humor, we're very much morally aligned. And in addition to what makes it really interesting, is we don't always believe in the same things and we weren't raised the same way. So, two different people coming together, I think will be really fun. So, I'm so excited for you to meet her. And Jasmine, thank you so much. Like, I know you're listening to this right now. I'm recording a little intro, but I just appreciate you so much. Like taking time out of your day to come on this little podcast that I know that I always say, "Oh, I want to do XYZ. I want to do XYZ all the time." And this one I'm following through and you're supporting. So thank you for being such a good friend. I really appreciate you. So for our first episode, I'm just going to be so transparent. We were all over the place in a good way because we're in a good way. We're still buttoned up. But the audio is a bit funny. We were just getting caught up with the laugh. So I am just going to put it out as organic as it is. But I am going to be chiming in just to put some factual stuff in there because, on this podcast, whether we like to hear it or not, the facts are the facts. And we're talking about Diddy. But anyways, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We recognize it's not as buttoned up as what we're going to be producing, but we hope you have fun with it. We had so much fun and figured let's just put it out, even if it's a bit all over the place, because the world's a mess and sometimes you just need a little bit of a laugh. So let's get into it. Okay, Jazz, welcome to the A-Files podcast. I can't believe you're on.
I am so excited. I know that I'm the guest, but I feel like I need to give you your props because, first of all, I'm honored. It's been a long time coming, and I know I was supposed to be on here last weekend, but life happens. I'm here today, and I'm just super excited to be your guest, and your first guest is at that. Oh, stop. Wait, no. Your first guest at that. No, stop.
It is so crazy to hear you right now. Because I don't know how I convinced you to do this, to be honest. I don't know. Huh?
I said, I don't know either.
Because you're not like, and this is no shade, because we can shade each other a little bit. This is not you, like a podcast.
It's not me at all. And to the people listening, it's actually completely out of my comfort zone. But anything for Ice and the A-Files, I'm just super excited to be a part of it.
First of all, thank you so much for giving me my flowers. Jasmine, the way you indulge me with my BS and the fact that you're on this podcast right now, it honestly means a lot to me. It really does. It really means a lot to me. And so thank you so much for coming on. And just so the audience knows, Jasmine's going to be on here once a week.
Oh, that is news to me. But Aisha, I'm in for the ride.
Wait, is your mom listening? Oh my gosh, I love your mom. Hi, Sands, even though she's never met me.
I'm sure she's listening. I told her I was going to be on the A-Files, by the way, and she literally gasped.
She gasped?
Yeah, she has watched a few episodes and she enjoys it. So when I told her, she gasped if I was saying Jimmy Kimmel. And I was like, yeah, basically.
Listen, Sands, we're almost there, aren't we? We're almost there. Yeah. Listen, Jimmy Kimmel soon's not going to have anything on us, Jazz.
No, he's not.
Nothing. Not a damn thing. Free speech is really happening over here.
So, we got it down.
With what? Did you say without a down payment?
I said we got a down pack.
Oh, period. Listen, Jasmine, this is a hot mess already. I don't even know what this podcast is about to be about. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I planned this all out. This is literally how it goes, Jazz. It's like my mind. I plan it all out, but now that I'm sitting and talking to you, there's like, oh, wait, I kind of want to get your thoughts. I'm trying to not there's stuff I want to ask you, but on a personal note. Does that make sense? Because we talk on the phone, but I have to remember there's a script we got to stick to.
I know, but for the viewers, this is actually how our phone conversations go. So this is natural. None of this is rehearsed.
Right.
She gave some points on what I should read up on, and I read up on it. But in hindsight, we're just going to be talking. So viewers, seatbelt on.
I need you to Google right now so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Trump's new coin. Trump coin. Please do me a favor and look that up so the viewers know your initial reaction.
Trump coin. Aisha. What?
Yes, so Jasmine, did you hear yesterday? This was breaking news in
Treasury
MAGA.
Department considers. I need the details on this.
I was about to say, do you want me to break down the MAGAs? Because you know I know the world very well. So MAGAs are having the best day of their life. Do you want to know why, Jazz?
Why?
Because the Treasury Department, I can't even see. Our Treasury Department, it's not Cash Patel, it's a different guy. Our Treasury Department is going to produce a $1 coin, which features our favorite guy, Jazz, our favorite man in the world, President Donald J. Trump. And do you want to know why they're doing this?
Why?
Why you say it like that? Why you say it with such anger? It's to commence.
I'm pissed, Aisha. Every day it's something, and this is insane.
Something new, huh? So, Jazz, do you want to know why we're going to get our president in our wallets again?
Yes, Aish, please share.
So, because it's going to be our 250th, did that sound right? 250th? Yeah. It's our 250th, I can't say that word, Jazz. 250th. 250th. Okay. It's our 250th. Oh. It's our 250th anniversary. The U.S. independence, Jazz, next year.
Aisha, so of all people, he should not be on there.
And the coin says, fight, fight, fight.
With his little fist.
With his little fist. Look at him. Look at him. He looks younger in that photo. That is not an accurate picture.
Aisha, this is insane.
Look at that, though. He's got chiseled jaw.
Like, the timing of everything, like, the government is shut down.
Shut down completely.
So for the Department of Treasury to be focused on this,
right,
blows my mind.
Blows my mind, Jazz. Blows my mind.
We ain't got no dollars.
We don't have a dollar. It's inflation. Listen, Jasmine, why does he always want to attack our wallets? Have you noticed that? Now he wants to physically be in our wallet. He just can't get enough of us. He's money obsessed. But you want to know something? I reported this on the last A-Files podcast, actually maybe a couple ago, but his whole family, Jazz, his whole family has got $6 billion added to their revenue while we're all suffering, just so you know.
Yeah, and my wallet actually hates to see Donald Trump coming, so he won't be going in mine.
But he loves to see your wallet coming because he knows we're all broke. Do you think we need a Trump coin?
No, absolutely not. We don't need anything else Trump at this point.
You don't think so?
It hasn't been a year. It hasn't been a year.
Yeah, it's a hot mess,
and look at everything that's happened. On top of that, that's like adding insult to injury.
Oh my gosh.
No.
You know what though? But Jazz, what about the MAGAs? They're going to be so upset.
They're always upset.
The thing is, do you remember when, wasn't Harriet Tubman supposed to be on a bill?
Yes.
What happened to that?
Crickets.
I just wanted you to see that, just so you know your president's doing all this.
Well, Aish, thanks for ruining my Saturday morning.
Well, welcome to my world. He ruins my everyday. And I think the most structured part of this is, let's kick it off, Jazz, because I want to talk about Diddy.
Diddy.
I want to talk about Diddy. Ain't that some shit?
4 years, Aisha.
4 years and 2 months, Jazz. 50 months.
50 months.
Okay, real quick. I want to just give some context about Diddy because I didn't have a podcast then and I would have been all over this case. But I just want to give some context for the viewers who might have forgot of what happened. So the trial for Diddy Combs started in May of 2025, and it went on for 8 weeks. However, I believe he was put into custody a whole year prior. So Sean Diddy Combs was accused of racketeering, 2 sex trafficking counts, and 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. And so the charges did center around his conduct with his ex-girlfriend, right? Cassie the singer, Cassie Ventura, and other victims who they testified under Jane Doe, so they didn't feel comfortable coming out and vocalizing who they were. So ultimately, Diddy was convicted on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. So basically what that means in very, very simple terms is that the jury found Diddy guilty of transporting Cassie and the Jane Doe to places where they would have to participate, like in sex acts and stuff like that, and prostitution, which obviously breaks the law, right? It's just wrong. And so the other part of this is the racketeering case, and the racketeering case, which he was acquitted of. And so racketeering does also include kidnapping, sex trafficking, drug, all that stuff, right? And I think where the public, like myself, we were a bit confused because I was under the impression that we were going to get this whole thing about bringing down the Combs enterprise. And it was like this whole smuggling, fraudulent activity, all this stuff. And what I felt like the prosecution really focused on was the sexual assault, which I'm not saying is wrong. That is absolutely right. But a part of me felt like he had so much evidence for the sexual assault case, the transporting of prostitution, that I almost feel like that the prosecution, so the people against Diddy, should have really focused on that because I just feel like it should have been a domestic violence case. Does that make sense? Because I really think that we had a lot more evidence there to keep him behind bars for a lot longer, because 4 years to me is a crock of crap. And so I would love your opinion on this because it didn't seem, because the most serious charge he had was the racketeering conspiracy, which would potentially have given him a life sentence. But we thought it was going to be a whole racketeering case, but it wasn't. It was more like a domestic violence case. And while I agree with all of the charges, I just think it should have been longer because I'm sorry, I saw that video. And what I saw tells me, and I will say this so confidently, that behind closed doors, it was a lot worse. I was a bit disappointed by the prosecution's case and their side of things because I really think that they just didn't focus enough on the racketeering and they focused more on the domestic violence, which again, if it's a racketeering case, I'm expecting to see more of that as well, in addition to the domestic violence, in addition to the sex trafficking. Let me ask you, and to just back up, how did you feel the trial was, knowing that it originally was supposed to be a RICO? We see the trial unfold, we start to realize, ooh, this actually seems like it's more of a domestic violence, sexual assault case versus a RICO. That's why I'm confused, Jazz. There were so many people to back up that sex trafficking case.
I agree.
Does that make sense?
No, I 100% agree. And to your point, the prosecution, I don't know if they were confident in thinking that Cassie alone, from a domestic violence standpoint, was going to win the case.
Right.
But from a viewer standpoint and just being engaged in it, I was a bit underwhelmed at what the prosecution provided.
Right.
So I think it just made it easier for the defense because there was almost little to no focus on the RICO charges. This became Cassie in the hotel by the elevator, and it became the domestic violence aspect.
Exactly. And just to add to that, Jazz, the counts that he was convicted on was two counts of transportation for prostitution, which is something that we can all agree we feel like we saw. Because people were going across state lines. They were being coerced into sexual acts they didn't want to. And I truly stand by that you need to date appropriately to your age, period. Because there's just a power play here. You know what I'm saying? Because she's young. There's a lot of young people involved, like 19-year-olds, right? 20-year-olds. Where when I was 19 and 20-year-old, I was immature. If there was an easy way to get to what I wanted, to how I want to live a decent life, why not do it? Sean Combs provided that. And that was a manipulative take, right? Because he's prying on the younger girls and boys. When you put all of that together, I'm like, that's a sex trafficking case. Now,
and she also didn't know any different, right? So it's not like she achieved success and saw it in a positive light of, the actual steps it takes to get there. She went from not having much to Diddy. Mm-hmm. And obviously was promised all these things as it related to music and just success. And so what she went through, for her, I would assume at 20 or 19, you think that's the right way to go. Exactly. Or this is how success. So that's where the manipulation comes in. So it's unfortunate. And to the people who say, well, where were her parents? Like, at a certain age, parents can only do so much, so we
Mm-hmm.
can't knock her parents in this sense.
Let's actually talk about her mom. Because from what I remember from the case, her mom actually did speak up. Now, I agree with you that it's really, because she was of age, so it's really hard to blame parents and all that. But I think we should note that her mom did try to say something, but her mom was also very honest that she was scared for her life. She was scared for her life. She said that under oath. So like I can also understand because she was a young mom. She had Cassie when
Mm-hmm.
she was younger. And then she's almost Diddy's age. So it's
Yeah.
like when I could understand when you don't have a lot and you have this powerful man threatening you, right? Like he's threatening them, saying, because that's what Cassie said. And that's all the proof. Like think about Kid Cudi co-signed. So it's like you have this guy threatening you. I would be terrified.
We also understand that that trial could have been better in a
Mm-hmm.
sense of them actually discussing what he was on trial for.
Mm.
That didn't happen. So when you look at the sentencing, are you really saying 4 years based on everything that was brought to the case? Or is it 4 years based on what was proven? And in that, I could kind of agree. And I'm not trying to get canceled. I'm just saying from a factual standpoint.
Like to your point, like 50 months isn't surprising based off how the trial went. Do I personally believe it should be 50 months? No, but I'm biased, right? I think Diddy should be locked up. I don't think Diddy should be on the streets. I think he's a menace to society. I think he should be at least closely watched. But in terms of the outcome, it sucks and I disagree with it and I wish he could stay in there longer. But that's the outcome of what was found in the findings. And that's just what it is. Do you know what I mean? And it sucks. It sucks personally, but to the law, that's it. Now, the judge did say, Jazz, that he did feel like, what was it, like a year was too little, but he also felt like 11 years was too much. So that's how he came up with 4 years.
Interesting. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, that's what they said. He said in one of his closing arguments. And keep in mind, I'm like simplifying it, right? Like he said a whole bunch of like law jargon that I don't really understand, but that's what I picked up from it.
Interesting. And I also think when his kids testified or gave their closing argument, I think that probably hit the judge in another way. Mm-hmm. And I was waiting for his youngest daughters to speak out because I felt it would have been smart of them to mention, obviously from their standpoint, I'm not agreeing, but I think it would have been smart for them to mention that, without Diddy, they would not have either of their parents. From a humanity standpoint, obviously the judge felt that. So it's just an unfortunate situation, I think, for both parties. From Cassie's side, I can only imagine her being terrified, even at this point in her life, and what is done to her and her family. So it sucks for them just long term. And then it sucks for Diddy's kids specifically because 4 years, 1 year, like they have to go a certain amount of time without seeing their dad and seeing him in this light. So, and regardless of, he did what he did. So his actions are a consequence for his kids. Mm-hmm. So it's important.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, Jazz. It's like, damn, it's all because of his action. He did, and he's a grown man. He's 55 years old. I'm sorry. Like, you know better. Diddy also spoke out and he was just trying to pull the whole I'm a changed man thing. And it's like, I don't believe it because you're under the chopping block right now. So you'll do anything and say anything to get free. He was committing violence and vile acts for years. No, it's like, no excuse. You're a dirty dog. Like, I think we can all agree that Diddy's a shitty ass person. And it's just so unfortunate that his horrible actions led his kids to this.
But to your point, that, and also people have to realize, like, Cassie was not the only person that spoke out. So we can't just say, oh, it's his word against hers. Like, she's not the only victim per se in this. Right. So to your point, Aisha, of it being years and years, like he's done this for years. And we can also admit that a lot of people we would have expected to speak out and have his back just from being around him for years have said nothing to date publicly.
Mm-hmm. Jasmine, you were onto something because I 100% agree. I'm shocked that his inner circle They haven't said anything, which to me, Jazz, admission of guilt.
Yep. And if it's not that, Aisha, it just makes you wonder what else is there to the story. Because if you do something, right, or if someone is accusing you of doing something and I 100% didn't see it, I'm oblivious to it, I cannot believe it, I'm going to say, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but this has never been the case. I've never seen that, and I've been around this person for this amount of time. And for someone who's been as close to Diddy as they've claimed, she said nothing. You wonder.
To confirm, Diddy got, 4 years and 2 months. He will be going to, he's actually in prison starting Friday. So, wow, yeah, he went in. I guess they do take you right after they sentence you, right? Like, he couldn't go out and say bye to his family and stuff. Damn. I mean, this is the repercussions to your actions.
Honestly, 4 years that's not much compared to what they were accusing him of.
Exactly. So. And he'll probably get out in good time. Knock off a year.
Yeah, he'll get out. Mm-hmm.
So Diddy's going to be held in Brooklyn, New York. Well, because he was found guilty for prostitution. So you reap what you sow. I don't I have no sympathy for this man. Jazz.
Me either.
All right, let's go into the world of sports. I want to talk about the WNBA. And Jasmine, there's a lot going on. There's so much I have to tell you about. So first of all, off the bat, just even for our listeners who might not be familiar, so have you heard of the team called New York Liberty?
So I heard that their coach recently got fired. Right. But to my knowledge, she was doing a good job. So I'm not sure why she got fired. Why do you think she got fired?
Yeah, nobody really knows. No one really knows. So just for context, so the New York Liberty, they are the 2024 champions, the WNBA champions. So they're fresh off a championship win. And they actually today, at least until this season, were the top contenders of the WNBA. Wouldn't you say, Jazz? Like, they're the number one team. Yep. They have very famous players. They got Sabrina, they got Stewie, they got just a whole range of them, right? There's just a lot going on. People are getting fired. And I feel like the players are starting to find their voice. Have you noticed that?
I sure have.
That brings us to Jazz. Have you heard about the Napheesa and Kathy Engelbert issue?
I have. I saw Napheesa's press conference, and she gave Kathy the business.
She gave Kathy the business. Okay, so let's back up. What happened? And where are we at today? So Napheesa Collier has been in the WNBA league since 2019. She was actually the rookie in 2019 when she first entered. So she's really good, and she had a very promising career from the beginning. And she's just outperformed herself. And now she is one of the most respected voices and people, I would say, players within the WNBA. And she plays for the Minnesota Lynx, and I believe she's always just played for the Lynx. And she came out to criticize the WNBA leadership. And she made headlines when she blasted the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, during her exit press conference. So the Lynx star called out Kathy and the leadership in the league for not addressing important issues that continue to arise year after year. And one of the issues in particular is with officiating, so the referees. And I will say, as someone who has been watching a lot of WNBA games lately, they do have a ref problem. There is a referee problem. They're not calling calls, and they're not calling the right calls. They're not paying attention, I feel like. And Napheesa's comments come right after she suffered a major ankle injury during Game 3 against the Phoenix Mercury. So her and Alyssa Thomas, who's a guard on the Phoenix Mercury, they collided, and Napheesa hurt her ankle, which now they're saying it's a torn ligament. So she's diagnosed with a torn ligament and torn muscle, which, as you can imagine, is very, very difficult to bounce back from. But the problem is the referee, when this all happened, never called a foul on Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas actually then made the bucket. So there's a lot of natural built-up anger, and it is absolutely nothing against Alyssa Thomas. I think Alyssa Thomas is a fantastic player. I think she's a great player. I just think there should have been a call there. But just to also point out, Jazz, this is not the only time this has happened. It has been an ongoing issue with the league, and even coaches have spoke out about it. So, just for more context, there's a lot of built up anger because the front office, the commissioner's office, Kathy Engelbert, promised them to look into a lot of these things. Kathy Engelbert, for context, is the first ever WNBA commissioner ever. Before, I don't know what they had, but she's the first commissioner ever. And so, for the first WNBA commissioner to sort of get a lot of heat like this from the players, star players, it's an issue. And we're going to go into it. So, Jazz, do you have any questions or thoughts off the bat?
So I do have a question.
Yes.
How long has Kathy been the WNBA commissioner?
Since 2021.
Okay, so could we also argue that part of the reason all of this is coming to the limelight is because they've never had an NBA or WNBA commissioner?
That's a good point.
And people have started watching since, I would say, around that time. Because the WNBA, there's been an uptick in the views and people that are actually engaged in it over the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that's part of the reason that there's such a focus on, and people are able to see things not adding up, if that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense. And I think that's a great argument, right? That's a great rebuttal. And I think it's been the refs in the WNBA, it's been an issue for years. And the problem with this new commissioner, the new commissioner comes on board saying they're going to do all of these changes. They're going to get better refs. They're going to do all of this stuff. And it's been a few years now and there's been no change. And now the WNBA players are at a position where their star power is bigger than the league. And so now they're speaking out like, hey, it's been a couple years. We've expressed these opinions and nothing's being done. Refs are still messing with us. There's a problem with the refs calling bad calls, which results into a lot of injury, like Napheesa right now, and just fairness, right? There's clearly a lack of fairness. So Napheesa has been very vocal with Kathy and has been working very closely with her, allegedly, for the last few years. And so finally, everything that they've been advocating for has just blown up in their faces today after Napheesa got hit. And sometimes it does take one particular person to finally speak out, right, on issues. And so Napheesa was that person. There must have been very tone-deaf conversations that happened between Napheesa and Kathy earlier in the year that is now being brought to light. And one of the last conversations that Napheesa had with Kathy, actually, let me quote it, Jazz. Am I making sense so far?
Yeah, you got it. It's making sense.
Okay, because I've read a lot about it, but when you read a lot about it, you're like, am I even saying it right? So on Tuesday, September 30th, Napheesa went on the podium because they do these exit interviews after each game. And she blasted Kathy by saying this, quote, "We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do. We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable, and that's fine. It's professional sports, but I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level." And so Jasmine, just from that part of the statement, how do you feel that where do you think her head's at?
I think she's over it. I think she's probably reached a breaking point. And to your point earlier, when you said it's obvious that other conversations have been had. So it's not like she just got on this press conference or exit interview, and then now this is the first time people are hearing this. And you mentioned earlier that it took someone that is not always outspoken or you don't hear much about. She does what she needs to do and she gets the job done. So sometimes that's a bit more credible than the person that's always in the limelight.
Right.
So when you think about players like Angel Reese, for example, right? Would it hit as much if she did it versus someone like Napheesa? And this has nothing to do with race or anything like that. I'm just saying more so from a star standpoint, how it hits a bit different when it's the person that doesn't have much to say.
And I think to your point, it does take that person, but it's elevated. Like a lot of people now are starting to come out against the officiating and the refs and how leadership aren't taking care of their players. For example, Napheesa's coach, Cheryl Reeves. She's a very famous coach on the links, or just in period. Her reaction to the officials not calling a foul when Napheesa got hurt, I think is also what really jump started this, because she lost it, Jazz. I don't know if you saw the video. Did you see the video?
I saw her when she stormed off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
It's just so much built up anger, I think, for years. And then you finally get this commissioner, because they needed a commissioner, right? Like the WNBA, they were advocating, hey, we want someone to represent us. And then they get this commissioner. Cool. They're new. To your point, you got to feel it out, right? But I think like after a certain amount of years, you're like, you said you were going to be doing X, Y, Z. So why haven't you? Reeves kind of just co-signs that and goes, if this is what the league wants, okay, but I want to call to a change in leadership at the league level when it comes to officiating. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem these people semifinal play worthy is an effing malpractice. I'm trying not to curse. Isn't that CBA also the television, TV? Sorry, Jazz.
No, I was literally typing it in, even though I'd rather hear your typing.
The WNBA CBA negotiation stands for Collective Bargaining Agreement. So this is a conversation between the WNBA leadership and the WNBA Players Union. So the goal is to create a new contract that governs the players' terms and conditions. So that's increase in pay, like health benefits, etc., stuff like that, Jazz. All of this is happening during these negotiations. Maybe the CBA negotiations behind the scenes aren't going well. Leadership clearly isn't holding up their end of the bargain, and so sometimes you got to go public with it.
I'll also say that this also shows just the response that Napheesa's getting from other WNBA players. Just says that if we show up in numbers, like it could really have an impact. And these are not just anybody. Like we have Aja Wilson who's speaking out. We have, like you said, Angel Reese. Like obviously she was not the only one that felt this way. She spoke up about what Kathy had to say regarding Caitlin Clark. And even though Caitlin Clark gave a very neutral response, which is as to be expected.
Keep going, bitch.
No, I was just going to say, so I just feel like she's really making an impact, and we don't know what's going to come from this. But yeah, she's really making an impact, and I'm very happy to see her receive support from her peers, because she could have came out, said all this, and people would be like, we have no idea what she's talking about. She's crazy. So I'm very glad to see the support the WNBA players are giving her.
And to your point, so many players have come out. Angel Reese said 10-10, no notes. Aja Wilson, before she even heard Fee's speech, said, and she goes, I haven't even heard Fee's speech, but I know who Fee is. And I just know that she spoke from the heart, and I know that she would say it with intention. That's who she is, right? That's who these players deem Fee to be. So then when Aja Wilson came out, she was absolutely like, yeah, we have a problem. And she's disgusted by Kathy Englebert's comments. And for those who don't know what Kathy said, what did she say about Caitlin Clark? Hold on. What did Kathy say about Caitlin Clark? Okay. Kathy messed up messing with Caitlin, didn't she?
She did.
Let me see.
She said she should be grateful.
Jazz, do you have it pulled up?
I do.
Do you want to read it?
It went away.
You good? Where's it at?
Wait.
Oh, okay. Well, she lost it. I'm still Googling, bitch. I don't even know where they're at. This is a hot mess. This is literally the podcast, Jazz. I can't even find, it was like, you want to know what's crazy is I saw her comments everywhere. Now I can't
okay, I got it.
Go.
I got it. Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because she wouldn't without, okay, let me say it again. Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because she wouldn't without the WNBA platform.
Ooh. Why would you say that about one of your star players? And when I mean star, I mean Caitlin brings in revenue, right? Why would you say that?
Yeah, and it's also not only does she bring in revenue, but her first year is when most of the views came in. And we can argue whether it was Caitlin Clark specifically, but when she started is when people really started paying attention to the WNBA, or, it's received the amount of viewers it has. So to say that from a commissioner standpoint, Adam Silver would never,
No.
so it's unfortunate.
Could you imagine Adam Silver saying that like about Luca?
No, he can't. He can't afford to.
Right. And Kathy, you can't afford to say that about Caitlin Clark. To say like without a platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything is a lie, because Caitlin was making money in college, no?
She was. She was one of the highest paid. Her and Angel Reese. What is it, the NIL?
Yeah, you noticed that she didn't say anything about Angel Reese though, huh?
Oh, she knew.
She knew better.
She knew.
But that's the thing, Kathy. I don't like that you're talking badly about your players, because to me, that's a bias. You're talking to another player who comes to you with genuine concerns, right, Jazz? And then you have Kathy over here shitting on another player. As a player, I wouldn't want to hear that.
No. And it's just like in the workplace. If you're a manager and you're going to talk about my peer to me, what are you saying about me?
There has to be some sort of HR violation, surely.
For sure. Well, I think it depends on Kathy's response, which did that come out yesterday?
2 days ago. Oh, we didn't even read Kathy's response.
Yeah, we need to get into
Oh,
Kathy's
let's
response.
quickly.
I haven't heard hers.
Yes. Oh my gosh, let me pull it up. Okay. Kathy came out with a statement. Keep in mind, let's back up, Jazz. Let's back it up. Keep in mind, Napheesa has called out Kathy for saying that her star players are ungrateful. Wait, what else is she? Whatever. I'm just going to read Kathy's fucking statement, okay? So,
Okay.
on Friday, Kathy held a press conference, which I knew off the bat when I saw that, Jazz, on social media, and it said she was going to be speaking at 7 p.m. I was like, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. And it was. It was an absolute disaster, because she also came out with a written statement when this all happened, saying that she's disappointed that Napheesa took her conversation out of context. And I'm like, what do you mean out of context? What, you gave all the context we need to know. So when pressed about those comments on Caitlin Clark saying she should be grateful for the $16 million she's made off the court, because without the WNBA she would be nothing. Obviously, I didn't make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. And then, just so you guys know,
That was her response.
yeah, that was her response. And just so you know, Jazz, we missed one important thing. Napheesa said that Kathy said players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. I forgot she said that.
So is she calling Napheesa a liar?
Yep. Kathy, in the press conference, she also said there's a lot of inaccuracies out there through social media and all this reporting. A lot of the reporting, a lot of inaccuracies about what I say and what I didn't say. She goes, I'm disheartened. I'm human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. So all I have to say is that it's obviously been a tough week, and I just think there's a lot of inaccuracy out there.
But also, Aisha, so inaccuracies, we're talking about the source. Like, this came from a source. It's not the media assuming what the conversation was. No, Napheesa went to the media and told them what the conversation was.
Right.
Verbatim. It's on what you said.
Right.
So the media has nothing to do with this. This is from the source's mouth. So you're saying she's a liar.
And also, Jasmine, let's back up. Do you notice that Napheesa never called out the WNBA? Napheesa called out Kathy. She's calling out leadership, because leadership has been aware of this for years. And Jasmine, after, you give them grace, absolutely. But if this has been an issue that you have promised to tackle, and it's been 4 years now, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, especially when you're the butt of the joke, right? Like at this
Mm-hmm.
point, I'm getting injured. I'm putting myself on the line while you just up there chilling, collecting checks.
Right.
And this is your response to a player?
Oh, let me tell you a little bit about Kathy in my research I found out. She has no basketball experience. The only basketball experience she had was in high school, and she was a D1 or college, and she was a D1 player, and I can't even remember the college. So she was at Deloitte financial firm for 33 years. And then from Deloitte, she became the commissioner of the WNBA. And that's the problem. She has no WNBA experience, in my opinion. Maybe there's something else out there we missed in the research, Jazz. I don't know. But I didn't see it. And so what I see is a rich person coming into the league saying they're going to make all these changes and then probably realize, oh, I actually don't know anything.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything and it's not her expertise.
Right.
So therefore she can't, like, you can't manage that aspect of the job.
No.
Like, you might be good with the finances because you have that experience, that's your expertise. But when it comes to the game and you're the commissioner, that's an issue.
It's an issue. And so we're paying attention, Jazz. That was pretty much it. I don't want to say pretty much it like it's a small thing because there's a lot. There's a lot that has to happen. And this press conference just happened saying that everything is a lie just happened. So I bet you this week it's going to pop off.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There's a lot there.
It's not.
I think it's truthful.
Not at all.
And Jasmine, in the era of misinformation, we need to be what?
Truthful.
Thank you. And so with that, Jazz... Yeah, that's all I got for you, girl. that's all this podcast got for you, girl.
Grand exit.
No, I don't even know. I don't know how to start these things. I don't know how to close these things. But all I do know is, Jasmine, thank you so much, girl. Like, this means so much to me because you're on the podcast. I know we've talked about this so many times, but I'm going to see you next week.
I'll see you next week, Aish. And thanks for having me. This was really fun. This is my first ever podcast. So,
and your last.
Viewers take it for what it is. And this is just our natural conversation. And it's been great.
I've enjoyed it so much. And it's only going to get better from here. Because remember my first episode? My first episode, Jasmine, I didn't even say hello.
Yeah, you just started talking.
Because that was like, I was so over it, Jazz. I was like, I've deleted so many of these episodes. I can't do it anymore. I can't. This is it. This is it. And everybody, I was going to say, everyone go follow her socials, but she has burner accounts, so don't do that.
Oh, yeah. If you see trolls, it might be me.
Most likely. It is her. So if you see your faves, it's Jasmine in the comments cussing them out. Thanks for everyone for listening. Jasmine, say thanks everyone for listening and like and subscribe. Go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Aish, thanks everyone for listening. Please. No, all right, wait, no. Okay, you said thanks everyone for listening.
You say whatever's on your mind. Say whatever's on your mind.
Thanks again, Aish, for having me.
I'm putting this all in. I'm keeping this all in. So you got one more chance. Give me one good one.
Okay. Aish, no, seriously, thanks for having me. This was so fun. All the viewers, please like, subscribe. What's the other one? Hit that bell notification so you're notified when new episodes are released. It's a great podcast. It's wholesome. If you work a 9-to-5 and you're not able to just, catch everything that's going on in the world, this is just a great podcast to listen to on the way to work. If you're cleaning your apartment, your house, whatever the case may be, please just tune in. Aish is great, and the A-Files is where it's at. Bye.
Oh my gosh, I have to hang up now because I'm going to cry. Okay, bye.